Hey folks, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the YNW Melly case. I've been watching it the last few days, and I'm back and forth. Do I think that the prosecution did a good job? I do. Do I think that there's some evidence lacking? The smoking gun, so to speak. Yeah, I mean it's a circumstantial case. Overall, I thought that the defense attorney, I thought the gentleman that did a lot of the arguments, the black gentleman, I don't know his name, I thought he was very skilled. The other gentleman, the white gentleman, I didn't like his style. I thought that he may be an attorney that handles murder cases, but his style, how many things got objected to? Like during his cross-examination of almost every witness that he did, there was an issue. I mean, it was always objection, compound question, objection, calls for speculation, objection, and they were all sustained. So, I mean, this guy's making, mistakes that an attorney maybe under 5 years would be making. I mean, look, we all make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. There's no such thing as the perfect defense or the perfect cross-examination. But I thought that he made a lot of mistakes. I also didn't like his tone and the way that he spoke. But again, that's a stylistic thing. That's I don't know how much the jury would have liked him. But again, the judge gives an instruction. Doesn't matter what the attorneys say or do. You're supposed to determine the evidence determine your verdict based on the evidence that's admitted and the credibility. You get to judge each and every witness. So the gang stuff, the stuff that's gonna try to get him the evidence that the state is using to acquire the death penalty, that he's affiliated with a gang, that he did this as part of some initiation or to get a better rep with the gang. I mean, that's almost ridiculous. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I could just say, well, I thought it was ridiculous. I don't think that because he has some gang signs, because he may or may not have spoken to people in gangs or taken a picture here or there, or I don't think that they can show anything that says, and I say anything, I don't think there's any correlation. So I don't personally think that the death penalty should be on the table, and I'm curious about how the jury's going to deal with that. But it didn't seem like there was a lot of evidence in regards to any gang affiliation from what I saw. And I didn't watch every single part of it. I watched a lot of it, but I didn't see any gang affiliation. I don't think he's trying to become a member of a gang or as part of any gang. Whatever. Is there enough for them to get a guilty plea? Absolutely. Absolutely, there's information. But there's also a lot of conflicts in the evidence. And I think the defense attorney showed those conflicts. But get down to the nitty-gritty without going into a ridiculous amount of detail. They can place Melly in the back of the car. The shot appears to have come from the back of the car. The angle, the trajectory where there was no blood on the seat shows that there was someone in the seat. There's a change of clothes, and people don't always, when I say people, the jury doesn't always understand beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt, right? It's acquired by a lack of evidence, conflicts in the evidence, and that's what the judge reads to the jury. I don't think they always get that. I think that you have to explain it. When I explain it, sometimes I get objected to. But let's say you have a laundry basket and it's almost full, right? It's 98% full, okay? There's still reasonable doubt, right? There's 1 or 2% reasonable doubt. And they don't like you to correlate it to a percentage, but in my mind, I do. Beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. That means if I'm like, you know what? Like, the evidence is so strong against Melly, But there's just like, what if he was taking a bathroom break? What if he did switch cars? Like, it's possible. And if you say it's possible, you got to come back with not guilty. Even though there's a mountain of evidence. I mean, they just piled on evidence. And you saw in the closing that the state of Florida and Broward County, they put all this information and they succinctly put it together. And the prosecutor did a great job. You know, stylistically, she did a solid job. That's reality. So when I hear people saying, oh, the prosecutor's not, no. That's a lot of information to take in, and a lot of information to dissect, and a lot of information to present to a jury and keep track of. I'm telling you guys, it's a lot harder than you think. She did a very good job. Is there enough reasonable doubt? That's the question. Are you like, is anyone 100%? No. Is there a reasonable doubt that he wasn't the shooter, that he knows who the shooter is, but he's not the shooter? Is that possible? I think you can make the argument that it is. Is it possible that the sole witness for the defense, is it possible that that person was telling the truth? If it's possible that he was telling the truth, and Melly was at the home at the time where they were notified about the death of the two people, if he was there, it's a not guilty. It all comes down to the credibility and then looking at the evidence. Neither side here has the perfect case. The state seems to have a lot more evidence that he did it, that Melly committed the crime, than the defense does, but the defense doesn't have the burden of proof, right? The defense only has to show that there's a reasonable doubt, that there's a possibility, a legitimate possibility, not that aliens came down and did it, but a legit possibility that, just one, that he wasn't at the scene. Can they do that? I think there's a valid argument that they can. So even though I wasn't a big fan of some of the cross-examination of the older white gentleman, thought the black attorney, I thought he did a great job. The parts that I saw of him, I mean, he was on his law. I would have liked to see him do the cross-examination, but I don't know, maybe he's not as good as that, in that area. Who knows? I don't know why this particular team teamed up together, but is there reasonable doubt? I think that there's a legit argument that there's reasonable doubt in this case, but the evidence is overwhelming circumstantially that Melly did it. So, do I know the answer, folks? I don't know the answer. What do you think? I won't be surprised either way. What does my gut tell me? My gut tells me that they're going to convict them. That's what my gut tells me. Because people don't always get that it's beyond to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. You hear those words, but everyone doesn't know how to define them. And when they see a laundry basket almost filled with evidence that Melly committed the crime, a lot of times they come back. That's why that has to be explained. That has to be said. If you have one doubt, if you have two doubts, if you have 1.5 doubt, even if you're 97% sure that the state got there, that still means that there's stuff left on the table. There's reasonable doubt. Anyway, that's my perspective. You guys have a great day. See ya. Tell me in the comments what you thought before the verdict comes out. See ya.